Good morning from a drab, dry, still stress-free, expensive yesterday and today Peterborough. So, where have we been? What have we been doing? We have just got back from Japan koi imports, and they asked us to do some more videoing, which we obliged. And then, without any kind of arm twisting at all, we ended up buying some fish. 4 fish. Yesterday, I had a little trip up to Andy Daly. What a nice guy. Thank you very much for the mug, Andy. So, he will be the second recipient of 10 questions in 10 minutes. Thankfully it was a sunny day. Update on the Upflow filter. I've just had to buy these. Aqua 40 DM Vario 10,000 and another air pump. Why did I buy that? You ask yourselves, or you might ask yourself. Well, basically we want the Upflow filter to be a standalone system and have a ready supply of water, electric and waste, so in the future if anything comes up we can change that section of the filtration. The Upflow filter might become obsolete, I have no idea. Something new might come out on the market and we want to try that, so we wanted an element of the pond where we could swap and change and experiment. That's why we've done that. With the Upflow filter in mind, there was a lot of thinking about how on earth do we get water out of the pond, which is standalone. Do we come out of the dirty side of the drum? Do we come out of the clean side of the drum? And I was talking to Darren at Absolute Koi yesterday, and he just gave me food for thought. And it was like, if I put another tank connector on the clean side of the drum, am I actually taking water through the media too quickly? Is there sufficient dwell time? Something that I didn't consider, something that I should consider, but I got the kit just to put a tank connector in there. However, because I've got a rodding point and a ready supply of water in there, I thought, I wonder if I can use this. Now this item I've had for absolute ages, 18 months. Now this is for 110 mil, but it will fit round the 4-inch pipe with an 1.5-inch outlet. So if I put this low enough on the rodding point, I might be able to get that to work. We shall see. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to put the Japan koi import and the Japan koi import videos on for you to watch, and also the questions, the 10 questions for Andy Daly, so I hope you enjoy that. And one last thing is, I met a subscriber down at JKI, Kev Cook, out of March, no, not the month, the place. Kev informs me that he's got a 5,000 gallon pond. I'm absolutely certain he was going to ask me to visit one day. Over to you, Kev. I've got your number anyway, mate, so as soon as you're free, let me know, I'll come over. We might do a 10 for 10 with Kev Cook. Cheers for now, let's go have a look at something else later. Okay, so another 10 questions in 10 minutes. So can you tell me your name and your age, where you live and what your profession is?
My name is Andrew Joseph Daly and I'm 43, believe it or not, and I'm a glass vision technician.
Glass,
or a window cleaner.
That'll do, a window cleaner. So Andy, how many years have you been keeping koi?
unbelievably, my Facebook memories have been popping up all this week. I've had a pond for exactly 10 years last week. There you go.
Okay, and the current pond, which we can see behind us with the dirty windows, what is your current pond size and the amount of fish that you have?
Now, I didn't tell you this a second ago.
Oh, go on then.
But I'll tell you now. Whether or not you've seen it on my channel before we see it on yours, you may have. I used a water meter to fill the pond up, so I got the correct literage. Then I had a mate over and we were talking about it, and he was like, there's nowhere it's that size. So I was like, well, that's what the water meter said. Look, there it is. Then we measured it with a tape measure, as in the depth, the length and the width of it, and it was completely different to what the water meter said. So
Right.
I don't actually know what the gallonage or literage of my pond is.
So what is your best guess?
13,000 litres.
So that's nearly over 3,000
Just
gallons.
over, probably, yeah.
Yeah, smidgen over. Okay, next question. You like this one. Is this your forever pond? There will be no other pond.
No.
I hope your missus is not watching this.
I funded it all, so it doesn't matter what she thinks really, I suppose. But no, it's
We-
not my forever pond.
Next question. If this pond and everything disappeared tomorrow, what would be your alternative hobby? But we know about the cycling, so now you have to add a hobby
So-
to the cycling.
Okay, yeah, because I already do cycling, don't I? So I like golf, but I just don't have the time to play golf. And I'd probably play 2 times a year, 3 times a year. So I'd probably play a lot more golf and still cycle, but not have a pond. And I'd have tons of money as well, because I wouldn't have a pond.
Yeah. Okay, so back to koi keeping. What has been your biggest triumph? The best thing that has happened?
I've been keeping fish 10 years. I've had lots of good things. I think the thing I'm most sort of happy and sort of proud about is Chubbs the Chag, the one that's battered at the minute with the wrecked tail. I got her 4 years ago, probably that big, and I've managed to keep her up until last week in reasonably good nick, and she's grown to a reasonable size, sort of late 60s, early 70s. So I think that's one of my sort of self-thinking triumphs within the hobby.
Okay, so can you give any specific advice for new koi keepers? It don't need to be reams and reams, but one big one maybe.
Water, fresh water, get as much fresh water in as you can.
Enough fresh water. Okay. So we've had biggest triumph. What's been your biggest error, your biggest mistake?
God, loads. There's probably more mistakes than there is triumphs. The skimmer was a pretty bad one. Yeah, probably.
That
Biggest
was the
error.
highlight of recent videos, that getting
Yeah.
that skimmer out, and oh my
Getting the
goodness.
skimmer out, that complete catalogue of errors putting that in. I only used 2-inch pipe work to run about 10 metre length, just no flow. Then I changed it, as if you've seen any more videos, and then it was leaking. It's just a catalogue of errors. So the skimmer defo.
So as we sit here now, and no disrespect, but you can see it's a little bit untidy. What is your future plans?
That's a bit harsh, isn't it? That's
Well,
really bad.
your little man's sat in the wrong place for a start. Can you see that? Yeah, there he is. He's the smartest thing in the garden.
Yeah.
So, future plans, where are we at? Ponds,
So the
Almost
pond
there.
is pretty much going to be there in the next couple of weeks. So the future plans are spending a boatload more money next year. So all this area now that you're looking at, which is a building site, is still going to be a building site till next year, and it's all going to then be paved. All a couple of different levels probably, but that's going to be a mega project for next year, and that pretty much will mean then the garden is nearly done.
well, the top end is looking really nice. Okay, so, do you get support from your partner? So we know you're married.
Yep.
So Andy's married. Do you get support from Rebecca?
Support as in
Does she get involved in the hobby?
not really.
No.
She's not. She could give or take them. But saying that, when I said I was going to get rid of a fish, and she was like, "You can't get rid of that fish. We've had that forever."
So so generally that's a distant support.
A distant support. She doesn't mind feeding them, but with regards to anything else within the pond, in fact, if you ever see her out and about with me, don't ask her anything about the pond or the fish, because she just doesn't have a clue. And she often giggles to herself when people start talking about things that have gone on within the video or within my koi keeping hobby, and she has no idea. She has no real care about it, other than feeding the fish, and then when I want to get rid of one, that's not allowed.
And speaking of fish that we can see behind you, they're getting frantically going through the spawning routines. Which is your favourite fish?
Yeah, chubs again, unfortunately. Sorry, other fish. Just purely sentimental value. I've had it for that long and grown it from small size to a big size. It's been there a long while.
Now, how big is it now, physical size?
Late 60s, early 70s. I haven't measured it for 8-9 months. And I think last time I measured it, it was late 60s then. So.
Yeah, I've got a magnifying element with those windows in, so they pretty much all look massive.
Yeah.
Well, I think that concludes 10 for 10. Thank you very much, Andy Daly. Back again to do some more filming for Nick and Mark. They've moved a lot of fish out of quarantine, and it just said, can you film them in their new environment? Yes.
Sorry?
Not silver enough.
No.
So as you can see, staggering quality. These have all just come out of quarantine. I believe some are actually sold, but many are available for sale. No, I'm not getting a discount. Right, so we're currently at Japan Koi Imports. We're going to have a word with Nick, who basically runs a big element of this establishment, along with Mark. We're going to enter the retail part of the business. This retail business part of the business is not as it is going to be. What we're going to do is speak to Nick, and he's going to show us how it wants to be. So these on either side are where they're at the moment, but where Nick is standing is how he wants it to look in the future. Morning, Nick. What have you got for us?
Some beautiful sorghum. I mean, this is where we want to take retail. Some gorgeous fish, some Gimrin sorghum, some standard sorghum mixed in with some beautiful key atsuris.
Very nice. So what's the plan for the rest of the retail area?
Well, we can't go into details, but what we're thinking is come the winter time, we're going to turn retail into tanks like this. We've got good fish in here, but they're not laid out the way we want them. We want the public to see all the variations we've got. And when we walk through, I think you've been through to wholesale.
Yes,
we
we have.
you the variation that we've got in there. We want to bring those into retail. So when people walk in, they come into retail first and they see that sort of tank.
And how will you know when you've got it right?
That's a good question. When people walk into retail and say, what a place, that's when we've got it right.
And that is clearly achievable with the size that you've got and the passion of your workforce.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we've looked in what was the wholesale area. That was an earlier video, and basically we put in a face to a name, so I dare say that anybody coming to Japan Koi Imports will now know, go speak to Nick. Sorry for dumping loads of work on you, but that's how it is in business.
Come and see me. Come and see me. There's beautiful fish to be had. There's always a deal.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nick.
So here we are, starting to take the newbies out of the bag.
We've got some fish.
Yay! This is number one. Not yet got names, so we're working on that. It's 17 centimetres this one, and that's going.
Snow.
And we have a bar of snow here, which is
bar of snow.
it's about 18 centimetres. So welcome to the pond. Number three, the elusive shusui.
Don't like this. Right, quick measure. See what we've got.
Right, number four, which we reliably called is an Ochiba. It's a live one. Come on, darling. 15.
15.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks actually big. All wet and wild. All down your trousers. Yeah. So that's 4 new residents. We had a choice of 1 big fish or 4 small fish, so we went for the 4 small fish. We like growing them on anyway. So thanks to Nick at Japan Koi Imports. And I'll just take you into the greenhouse just to show you the Upflow filter thought process. So this is where the Upflow filter will sit. Somebody thought that was a greenhouse toilet, so that it could actually change. So the idea is to put this pipe saddle here, clamp it round there, just to give us a a 1.5 inch supply. The water level is somewhere up here, so hopefully that may work. If it doesn't work, I can just take it off, cut the pipe and put a 4-inch T in, and also supply the valve which will sit here, the pump which will sit in there, and then I've got the pipe work for the waste and a 2-inch rubber elbow which will sit there. So as usual with all my inventions and thoughts and using other people's inventions and gluing and pipe work, it seems to change every day, but eventually it will be there. We'd even thought about where to put the outflow of the upflow filter, and I might actually put a T in this 3-inch pipe, come through this wall, T into the pipe, and let that flow down to the spillway. I'm just making it up as I go along, so sort of bear with me. So Cat just enjoying a cuppa and keeping an eye on the 4 new fish. Not sure where they are at the moment. They are about. Say goodbye, Cat.
Goodbye, Cat.
So those people that know me, I wouldn't lower myself to advertise other people for any kind of gain. Probably the best cup of tea I've ever. Oh, and a big thank you to Andy Daly for my new cup. Anyway, stay safe, get your jab, get your second jab, look after your family, have a cracking weekend. Bye.